Welcome to episode 81 of The Glow. Coming at you in the early evening in Asheville, North Carolina, kind of coming into twilight. So beautiful here right now. Welcome, Danielle. I've been coming on in the morning, and some people say, "Oh, I can never see you that time of day." So here's a time to those that want to catch me live in the evening in the Eastern Seaboard. This is your moment. There's such a profound sense of fulfillment in being, well-being, in the ground of being, that, yes, the birds, I know, yeah, you can see a little bit from this window here, they're out in the trees out there, in the distance, joining us. There's such a profound fulfillment in the ground of being, in what's called well-being. Being well, well-being, resting into being itself, that sometimes it's difficult for me to speak linear words. Welcome, Jackie. But we're going to do it. We're going to focus, and because there is something I want to share with you, and I want to talk about, we had our class in the Secret Glow online community today. Welcome, Phyllis. And I thought it was a really powerful class, and I want to just share, just in brief, what I was sharing and what was articulated, and then you can join the group if you want. There's a link right below me to join. I'm really excited about what the potential is and what's unfolding in the group, but also in the human consciousness itself. You know, it's a really, really exciting time to be alive. It seems like a lot of things are breaking down on the surface, but that's creating the space for a lot of things to break through that are newly emerging in our evolution of our consciousness. So what I talked about is how, what I'm going to talk about right now is just briefly, just take a few minutes to talk about how we've been conditioned to attach and identify with a series of beliefs about ourselves, with a series of stories about ourselves, with a series of ideologies about ourselves. So we've been conditioned, we've been programmed to be attached and identified with stories about ourselves, beliefs that we presume to be true, that we presume to be an objective reality. And the realization is that these stories that we have about ourselves, that these beliefs we have about ourselves, are not an objective reality at all. The realization is these stories that we've been attached and identified to, these belief systems, are actually just that. They're beliefs and they're stories. Stories, by definition, are not true. Beliefs, by definition, are not true. They're things that we imagine. So we become attached and identified with things that we thought were an external reality, an objective external truth or reality, And what we start to recognize when we realize what we really are is that these things are not an eternal, external, objective reality. They're not external facts. They are constructions of our own imagination. Constructions of our own imagination. And they're not what we really are. And they're not fixed, and they're not facts, and they're not true, and they're not reality. And we're not limited by them at all. What's called spiritual awakening, what's called self-realization, what's called enlightenment, what's called Buddha nature, what's called Satori, what's called spiritual liberation, what's called God realization, etc., is the recognition and realization of who and what we truly are. Who and what we truly are is not a belief, is not a story, is not an ideology. Is not attached or identified with any particular belief or story or ideology, is not bound by the construction of ideology, of dogma, belief, or story, is unlimited, is unbound, is infinite. The infinite essence of who we are, the ever-present I am, that which is unchanging, that which is vast, that which is spacious, that which is the stillness. That which never comes or goes, that which never appears or disappears, that which cannot die, which also means it cannot be born. To become anchored into this essence is to become anchored into this depth, this profound depth of freedom, self-love, empowerment, and the deepest ground of inner peace. And to recognize this as the essence of who we are. And to anchor into this essence of who we are. And to realize that what we've been conditioned to believe ourselves as, the stories, the beliefs, the limiting thought patterns, is not the essence of who we are. So now we're this vast, infinite, wide open space. Alright, so we recognize what we're not, we recognize who we really are. Now there's a third step, which is the most exciting step of all, because we're just starting to open to this potentiality and this possibility. Hey Jasmine, welcome. So the realization is, from this vast infinite space, we've deconstructed all the conditioning of beliefs, the thought patterns, the stories. Now, third step, we reconstruct, we recondition, we repattern, we reprogram the character we want to create, the world we want to create, the dream we want to dream. This is only possible when you recognize and realize wholly, fully, completely, and clearly that everything that you're observing is not an external conditioning placed upon you, is not an external conditioning by God placed upon you, is not an external conditioning, is not an objective truth that you must conform to. It's a collective construction of our collective imagination, which means we can reimagine anything that we want. We can reimagine anything that we want. So there's that three-step process. The deconstruction of our conditioning, the recognition of who we really are as the vast infinite essence, timeless infinite essence, the ever-present I am, that has no form, shape, or size, what could be called spirit. And the third step, to reimagine ourselves from a space of infinite possibility, because if there's a vast infinite space, that means there's no sense of limitation. There's no sense of not possible, no sense of can't do it. What we think of as scientific laws are a construct of a video game that we've created. So we're conforming to rules and laws that are created by this universal creative intelligence that we are a part of. So there's no limitation to what's possible. There's no limitation to what's possible. Anything is possible. So to live in this truth of infinite possibility in every moment is to live at one with the universal creative intelligence, with the heart of God, with the heart essence of the universal heartbeat and the unlimited creative potential of what's possible, like a life artist. You know, every moment living in this question, I talked about it in the class today, you know, every moment living in this question of if anything is possible, what I want to create. If anything is possible, what I want to create. If anything is possible, if anything is possible, what do I want to create? Recognizing that instant manifestation is what we're already doing. Everything that we're experiencing, every moment, is a creation of our imagination. And the more conscious we become, the more aware we become, the more awake we become, the more present we become, present in the moment, the more consciously we are creating. The more consciously we are dreaming the dream. The more consciously we are creating and recreating the world we live in from a field of infinite possibilities. So it's like gathering almost like a collection of like wizards, you know, like magicians or witches or something, like, you know, the sense of like magic is what I'm pointing at, you know, the sense of there's a magic to life, there's a miraculous nature to life. We are magic, we are miraculousness, we are wonderment, we are awesomeness, we are amazingness. This is what we are and what we are, how we are and where we are, who we are, every thought, every emotion, every feeling, every sensation, every heartbeat, every breath, every cell of our being is pure magic, pure and utter amazingness. It's a three-step process. Seeing beyond the conditioning, the way we've been conditioned, number one, realizing what we really are as the infinite essence, number two, and three, recreating, reconstructing from this 0 point, this infinite essence, whatever dreams we want to dream together. And that's how we change the world. We don't change it by re-electing some different official. Come on. I mean, let's get serious. This is all just like ways to avoid taking the empowerment within ourselves. You know? Bring the sense of empowerment into being without looking for an external force to do it for us or to save us. Because everything that you're observing is a part of our collective imagination. It's part of our collective dreaming. You know, if we want something different, then let's dream something different into being. Starting with ourselves, starting with you. Starting with you. There's a spiritual realization that there's only one, right? That everything is interconnected and there's only one. So if there's really only one, you know what that means? It means you are that one. You are the one. So it's important to stop looking for somebody else or some other agency or some government or some military. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm so glad you're going to be joining us for the retreat coming up in a few weeks, and I'm so glad that you're here now. Thank you for being here. So these external agencies, these external beings, human beings, these politicians, it's time to stop looking for someone else to be the solution, right? But as Gandhi said, to be the change, really, truly, deeply be the change we want to see in the world. Doesn't mean we can't ask for help. Doesn't mean we can't ask for support. Doesn't mean we can't ask for guidance. But to recognize the ultimate empowerment starts with inside ourselves. And the other, their function is to be a clear mirror to reflect you back to yourself more clearly, right? So that's the function here, is to have a space to bring more clarity, to be a clear mirror to reflect you back to yourself more clearly. That's the function of what's happening here right now. It's not to direct you anywhere else, but it's continually to bring you back to the power that lies inherent within in this moment right now, to the magic, the miraculousness, the love, the profound love, the vast peace, the tremendous freedom that lies within this moment right now. Does anyone have any questions or comments? It's really exciting what we're opening up to right now. It's really, really exciting. It's a profoundly exciting time to be alive, particularly for us, those of us who are part of this video right now. It's a profoundly exciting time to be alive, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this space with you. If you want to join the Secret Glow, click on the link and subscribe to join us as we delve in deeper into those three aspects I mentioned. Today, tonight, this morning, thank you all for being here, and I will see you in the next. Now.